Hello, my name is Mark Zirka. I am the founder and the CEO of Strategy Hub and Strategy Hub Academy. I want to welcome you on our weekly series of videos and thank you for being here today. Today, we're going to talk about a very important topic, strategy. Why strategy is important? Why every single business should have a clearly defined strategy? How are you going to implement it? How are you going to build it? So first of all, consider strategy as the horizon, right? Imagine that you are driving and you cannot see the horizon. Imagine you are driving or you are walking and you don't know where you're going. You are just wandering around, walking here and there, and you don't have a clear destination. This is the problem of many organizations. The problem is that many of them just started because people were very good at what they are doing in terms of trade, and then they decided to go into business. And then they've just been struggling to try to push the business forward. What is extremely important about strategy is that to set the vision, is to set the direction, right? So this is why most successful companies in the world, they really have a very well-defined strategy. Now, when we want to define a strategy, the most important thing is that please don't sit behind your desk in a closed room between four walls, being the only person sitting in the room and starting to draft the strategy. Actually, this is the formula to failure, right? What we need to have is to have strategy that has an opt-in that is adopted by every single decision maker in the organization. So the first step for building the right strategy is gather all the decision makers in the organization and some of the people who are going to execute on this strategy. We're going to talk about executing on the strategy a little bit later. But for now, let's gather all the people who are decision makers. And then we put ourselves between four walls in one room and we start discussing about our business. In order to really define the future of a business, we need to look at the past of the business. We cannot really understand how we want to move forward without understanding what had happened to us and what is currently happening to us. So once we understand the past, once we understand what happened, and the most important question which we need to answer is the why. Why things happened the way they happened, right? In the past and now in the present. And this is when we are going to start defining the what we need to do in the future and the how and the why. Once we answer these questions, this is when we are able to very openly talk about the future of an organization. So when we are in a strategic planning session, and we have moderated many strategic planning sessions for small, medium enterprises, for family-owned businesses, and even for large enterprises. Yes, it might get ugly. Yes, it might get rough because actually we need to be super honest. If we are not in this session or in the strategic planning session and we don't want to be honest about the business, we're not going to be accusative about who did what and this person worked, this person didn't work, it was his fault, her fault. It's not this. We need to be very open. We need to really clean the house and make sure that things or the bad things or the wrong things are not going to be repeated again. Once we have now our eyes on the horizon, and once we have defined clearly how this horizon is going to be for us, for our organization, for our people, for our employees, this is when we can start building the action plan. So for today, all I wanted to say is that whenever you want to start defining a strategy, all what you need to start with is, first of all, gather all the decision makers, gather the key people who are going to execute on this on this strategy, and then do a very thorough, honest, and clear strategic planning session. So once we finalize this strategic planning session, we start having some ideas about the action plans. And next time, on my next video, we're going to start talking about how we can formulate the action plans. I hope that you found this tip about the strategy, definition of strategy, and the strategic planning important and interesting to you. And I hope that I will see you again on our next video, which is going to come up next week. Thank you so much. And I hope that we're going to connect very soon.